Hi folks, this is all the fruit. Today I decided to explore the jungle near the city center of Miri. Here, by the way, some pisang kapok and some jackfruit. The last 2 days I explored the markets and the coastal areas and the parks in the city and some nurseries and so on. Today I want to explore the hills where they started their oil drilling like about 100 years ago. It's funny that you have such jungle-like areas very close to the city centers of every Malaysian city I have explored. You have them in KL. Actually the TV tower right in the city center is built on a jungle hill, right in the skyscraper district. You have it in Kuching. Of course you have it in Penang. Georgetown is built next to a big hill. You have it very prominently in Sandakan and Kota Kinabalu. And yeah, if you look long enough, you also have it in Bintulu, and of course here in Miri. I don't know if it's for climatic reasons or because you get good water near those hills, or maybe even for defense reasons, like putting an outlook up there. But you have those hills next to every big city. I think the only big city without such a hill I've seen until now is Cebu, and Cebu was strategically located in the delta of the Rajang River. So let's all see what we have here. This should be a pedalai, a very common artocarpus, even in city urban environments, but I've rarely find it with good fruits. Here, some of the ferns they like to use like vegetables, and some probably wildish feral manioc variety. And here, a lot of overgrown bananas. Unfortunately, I cannot see what bananas those are, but somebody has chopped the trail to some of those bananas and has chopped around on them, so something in those bananas is valuable enough to be harvested. Here are some of those bananas. Not sure whether it's a cultivar or some acuminata, some wild acuminata subspecies. Don't have much experience with banana foraging here in the coastal areas. Here a whole field of bananas. Come on, there must be something harvestable in there. Also taro growing down in the swamp. I'm not going in there just to rummage around if I don't see any fruits from the road. Here I see some fruits. Pretty sure. Come on, where are you? See them in the shade? Pretty sure this is some acuminata. I'm pretty sure it's seedy. Today, even for the first time, bought some seedy bananas on the market. Yeah, you don't want me to do bananas, but we are not in the fruit season, so bananas is the main thing I'm getting here. Another pedalai, some mango, probably some wild jungle mango, and one single oil palm sticking out from some other fruit tree looking like things in the background. Did somebody make a trail here? Not a proper trail. They've been walking in here. So I guess those are the remnants of some old fruit forest and somebody is still harvesting it. But for now, I'm staying on the road. This is the road to the grand old lady, the oldest oil well in Malaysia. So this area used to be an oil drilling area. Nowadays I think the bigger drilling operations are kind of further away from the city. More mango trees in the background, but nothing is in season. What a pity. Some more artocarpuses here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees. 6, a young one which are most probably pedalai, although one of them looks like kaledang, the young one down there in the hole. But I don't see a single fruit, so I'm not moving away from the road, despite the fact that I have a sunburn and would like to get under the tree canopy. Feral oil palm near the roadside. Still too young to have fruits. It's a pity. I like the fruits. And some, most probably pedalai, some artocarpus behind it. This thing looks like Musa acuminata microcarpa, but it has already lost its fruit bunch. The next one is too young. Here another feral palm. Okay, let's go down this rabbit hole here. There seem to be dozens of official trails and trailheads here, despite the fact that those hills are actually on a very small area. But I doubt that this here is an official trail. However, one good tip when you are looking for something in the countryside, whether it was orchids or caves or crystals or old ruins or fruits, if you are in an area where you know those things exist and you see a trail going seemingly into nowhere, take this trail. It will probably get you to what you are looking for. And this thing here looks like a fruit tree. It looks so much like a fruit tree, but I don't know what fruit tree. Those are the leaves. If you have an idea what this could be, folks, tell me. Also epiphytes on the leaves. Epiphytes are like epiphytes but much smaller. They don't simply grow on other plants, they grow on the leaves of other plants. This is usually a sign that those leaves are very durable. They've lasted several years. Some purple sugar cane over there. It's not a fruit, but I think nobody will mind if I just take a piece. However, those feral old sugarcane stems, often they are not as sweet as you would like them to be. Yeah, like usual, definitely sugarcane flavor, but the sweetness is minimal. There is a correct time for harvesting a sugarcane grove or plantation or garden, or they lose their sweetness. Here, this little Melastomaceae fruit, I always forget the name, and there are no fruits on this one. The fruits are small, blue and hairy. Not very tasty, yeah, they are about as unappetizing as they sound, but they are edible and can be foraged. It looks almost like people here are after the banana leaves, maybe for wrapping foodstuffs or things. Huh. Tell me your idea. What do those people do with those bananas? Another good-sized mango tree. However, not a single fruit. Here we have a whole bunch of bananas right next to the road. Maybe we'll get lucky here. Seems to be the entrance to some... No, folks, we are in Asia. This is not what you think. Those are Buddhist symbols. Maybe some sort of temple or shrine or whatever. Guess those bananas have something to do with them. Big tall plants, very angular fruit. Could be pisang kapok. Here's some more. Yeah, think pretty much that those are banana cultivars. Let's see if they have been properly harvested. Sometimes they just fell to the ground and then you can kind of collect stuff. Looks like most have been harvested. Most doesn't mean all. Let's check thoroughly. If I find a ripe bunch, there is a big bunch over there, but not ripe. No need for me to collect unripe bananas. But if I find a ripe bunch somewhere in there, oh, totally getting it. I learned a technique yesterday on YouTube how to cut down big banana pseudostems with a small knife. However, it seems here another small bunch that the stuff is being harvested in time. I mean, there must be a lot of people from the hills and from the countryside now living in a big city. And I'm sure many of them want to do a bit of light foraging from time to time. It's also possible that people from this temple or whatever are harvesting the bananas. I mean, they probably planted them here. Large parts of the hills are literally meager grassland with a couple puny trees on them. Well, that happens when you utterly destroy tropical rainforest. Most of the soils here are very poor due to old erosion. All the nutrients are in the forest. The rain is very strong, so it produces a lot of new erosion and leaching out of all of the minerals. If you are lucky, you still have enough nutrients to create some sort of poor secondary forest. But if you are unlucky, often it happens on flat ground, or on ground where water is being retained, or on hilltops like here. You basically get some grasslands which are quite poor in species and also very poor in nutrients. And getting a new rainforest on this type of soil is very difficult. It's good to know your palm trees. Everything growing along the road is Roystonia. A palm tree with very pretty but non-edible fruit. But the stuff going back there in the grass, growing back there in the grasslands, that's all young coconut trees. Not sure if those are private or public, but if they are public and I see the fruits, the coconuts so close to the ground, totally getting them. Especially this one in the background is old enough to have coconuts, but the local people are clever enough to have harvested them before me. Here we see some old concrete structures, maybe from oil drilling. A lot of Singapore rhododendron. It's being used as an ornamental because of the flowers. It's a very important medicine. It will suppress inflammations. For example, if you chew a little branch, or even better the roots are the most concentrated one, all your gum infections go away. Those are edible fruits, but I don't see a single ripe one around here. After just 200 something meters, we are on the ridge. This road goes along the ridge. Here you see another things that happens when you destroy a jungle. This Fabaceae vine takes over large areas. Over there, this should be a clump of pisang kapok. Well, this big banana field at the bottom, as well as this cluster here, are most probably Musa campestris, very colorful banana. Here some remnants, either remnants of the traditional rainforest or something secondary. We can look out towards the outskirts of Miri, mostly coconut plantations, also a couple oil palm plantations. Oil palms are much more common, but right here I see a lot more coconut than oil palm. Some hills in the background. Some of those could be Lambier hills. I don't know if we can see all the way to Nia. Or no, actually, this big stuff there could be Ulubarab at the heart of Borneo, one of the last big jungles in the world. So this here is probably Lambier Hills, less than 30 kilometers away. Well, I would guess that this stuff on the, well, further away on the horizon is Ulubarab at the heart of Borneo. The locals call this tree and a couple of other smelly fruit fabaceae trees pataya. You can cook and eat them, and then your pee will smell horribly, and also it seems to be very, very bad for your kidneys, so I stay away from them. Checking the artocarpus trees. They have different leaves. Look at that, this one has very different leaves from those two. Some of them could be tarap, others pedalai, kaledang. There are dozens of artocarpus species. Down there in the shade, a couple Musa campestris. The tree in the foreground, the very young one, is a coconut tree. The tree behind it is an oil palm. Here more coconut trees. Looks like somebody has planted them, because there are so many of them. They're all pretty young, and they are pretty much the same age, and there is no parent tree around. Some pandanus here between the trees, also a very important nutritional plant for the locals. They even love the flavor, although for me the flavor is mostly of grass, but they like it. Let's check this biggest coconut tree here. Can come quite close to it from this side. And oh yeah, we might not eat tonight, but we gotta drink today. Look at that. Two nice coconuts, perfect age for drinking coconuts. Another one on the other side, which should also be old enough. And they are still young enough so that I can open them with my little pocket knife. I don't actually need a parang. Sitting down in the shade, opening my young drinking. Oh, yeah, it's opening far too easily. Now I got my pants wet. Tasty coconut water. This knife is not so stable. I shouldn't put too much stress on it. I've already opened a lot of coconuts with it, but there is not just always a first time. There is also always a last time. Fortunately, this coconut is very young. Wow, but it's sweet. Good coconut. Good sweet coconut. I decide to leave the two others for somebody else. No need to be greedy. I still have an almost full water bottle with me. Cannot see ripe bunches in this pisang kapok cluster, so I'm not going in there. This is a Pipturus, this shrub slash little tree, probably Pipturus argentatus. It's a stinging nettle relative, but it will not sting you. It will give you, yeah, quite okayish little whitish fruit, but it's not in season. I see it just flowering. I say quite okayish because they are not too big, not too sweet, but they're edible. Totally okay. Actually, there are a lot of stinging nettle relatives which have edible fruits. Actually, our normal stinging nettles in temperate areas also have edible nuts. But those relatives here in the tropics, they have soft edible fruits, which is, of course, a totally different thing. Some fishtail palm down there, also some bracken. Bracken is a fern which you can also eat, and which it can grow in very cold climates and also on the equator in the mildest climate you have. One of the very few plants which can grow in so many different climates. Here we have kangaroo grape, Cairaceae. Yeah, it is a grape. It's in the family Vitaceae, but has so much oxalate that they prefer to cook it into sambals. And here we have a bramble. You cannot call it a blackberry because it has red berries, just like the raspberry. It's just not as tasty as the raspberry. It is not in season. Oh, but here the Pipturus, the stinging nettle relative, is getting in season. See here? This fruit. This little fruit is totally edible. Yeah. No taste right now. I think later they develop a tiny bit of taste, but now there is nothing. And this area is really rich in edible fruits. Here we have the tropical cherry or quercen. It comes from tropical America, but it's a common roadside tree. They like to plant it along roadsides in Southeast Asia, and people like to forage the fruits. Mostly children, but even adults are not ashamed to stretch a little bit or even climb the tree just for a tiny handful of the tasty fruits. They taste like very sweet aromatic candy when they are properly ripe. Very good fruit. Unfortunately, larger sized cultivars I've tried in the Canary Islands have neither the sweetness nor the flavor of the small roadside ones around here. What is this wine? This is also some Viteishi. Those wines are important for another reason. You can use them to get water in the rainforest. This is something I've never done before, but it's a very famous thing. If you cut the proper vine in the rainforest, you get out a lot of water. I've seen people doing it on videos. Even friends have sent me videos where they do it. Well, I know that the vines that are being used are Viteishi vines, and this is a Viteishi. The leaves look a lot like Parthenopsis. It has tendrils. I haven't seen the fruits, but let's see. Not even a single water drop coming out. Okay. Who can teach me how to get water from vines in the jungle, folks? I would really appreciate it. Thickberry. Well, most Westerners say this stuff is horribly toxic. Most people in tropical countries where it grows use it as a small berry. Those here are even less special than the usual ones. No sweetness at all, yet also no flavor. Aha! So there are pedalai fruits on the trees. Yeah, this is definitely pedalai. Here is one, and here are two I could get without any trouble, but they are not ripe yet, so no need to get them. If I get them, well, usually I've got the out of season ones, I think, because there were almost no edible arrows inside. Everything was just fibrous. Okay, so this is pedalai. We established this without almost any doubt, I think. Well, the last doubt would be dispersed if I open them and the arrows inside are white and not orange or some other color. If that was pedalai, then what is this here with the more incised leaves? This looks a lot like kaledang, the bright orange cousin of the pedalai. It's even tastier. Those big leaves down there, this could be the earth figs, the really big earth figs, the one the size of hamburgers. But they're also the least tasty species. A lot of really small earth fig species are much tastier. And here again the bracken. This was used in times of famine in places like Ireland, Scotland and Scandinavia. And here it grows right at the equator. And the other fern that grows with it, it's a standard vegetable for the locals. They use it. Yeah, I've collected it and I've eaten it many times. Where bracken grows, basically it's degraded countryside where the forest has been destroyed. But bracken also means that there is still some nutrients. There are still some nutrients in the ground. The soil is not completely depleted. So here, as you can see, the jungle is slowly coming back. My grandfather was the first one who told me this. He said, wherever you see bracken in the countryside, you know that this area is good for planting potatoes. If you know anything about potatoes, potatoes need a lot of nutrients. Unlike beans, for example, which will put a lot of nitrogen into the ground, the potatoes will take a lot of nitrogen from the ground. So if you want to plant them on very poor soil, you have to fertilize them. But here, in the Balkan Mountains, in the foothills of the Balkan Mountains, you find the field with bracken. If you have the power to actually plow it, because bracken roots and rhizomes are incredibly tough, then you can actually plant even quite, nutrient-intensive crops like potatoes. Beautiful flowers around here. Somebody must have planted ornamentals and they escaped. Some Kana relative don't know even exactly what this is. Katapa trees, the tropical almond. The home of those plants are the tropical beaches, basically the same places that coconuts grow. Unlike the coconut, it will not give you water, but it will give you a small tasty nut. It's harder to open than a coconut, and the nut is smaller. And here I'm seeing just a very dirty, half-ripe, half-eaten one. The nut is smaller than a coconut, even smaller than a temperate almond. But you can find thousands, even millions of them on tropical beaches. So, yeah, it's worth to know them because they can be one of your main sources of nutrition in tropical coastal areas. Is this Terculia or money tree? Well, from one point of view, the difference is not very big, because both will provide you with good and edible nuts. I saw Terculia and money tree nuts, well, fruits today. Fruits, some of which were ripe enough to extract nuts from them, but nothing on those trees here. What are those bananas? They look very interesting. Let's try and approach them from down here. Well, this looks like a more official, not even only trail, but also some exercise thingy. However, the bananas don't seem to have fruits. Here a pedalai, what was it, Artocarpus, Sericicarpus or something, very tasty fruits, but this one is still too young. Behind it, some other very good thing, two young trees of the Borneo avocado or Encala. Well, those fruits don't look anything like an avocado, they look like flat pink candies. But if you pour hot water over them, they will taste like avocado. Well, not really like avocado, but they will taste like a very oily, nutritious fruit. Those bananas here in the shade, they are not getting any fruits unless one of those big trees falls over. This big tree seems to be a rambutan. Unless a big tree falls over, they will not get any. They will not get any fruit bunches. It's too shady right now. Here we have something interesting. I'm pretty sure that this is the kepayang nut. Sounds similar to the katapan nut we had up there. But this is the kepayang. Well, it's not a nut. It's a big juicy fruit with huge seeds inside and big juicy leaves. All parts of the plant are highly toxic. Oh, look at the beautiful dragonfly here. Nice. Are you even on focus, sweetie? Well, all parts of the tree are toxic. However, it seems, well, I have eaten the pulp, and some people say you can eat the pulp, although a lot of tribes people I've asked around here say no, you cannot eat the pulp. You can eat the young leaves as a vegetable, and since they're of decent size, you get a lot of vegetable out of it. Collecting some other vegetable leaves, for example, those ferns here, can take you a lot of time. Because in those, with those ferns, well, right here I see nothing worth collecting. But basically you collect small young pieces of the young leaves. But here you collect 2 or 3 leaves and you have enough for spinach for the whole family. Yeah, the fruits are very tasty, pretty tasty also, although they have a strange taste. They are big, so they will give you a lot of nutrients, but the best are the seeds. You can collect them weeks, maybe months after the fruits have rotted away. then you need to go through a very lengthy process of preparation, like leaching them in several waters, boiling them, pickling them in salty water, and then you are left with a very tasty nut. This is some young jungle mango of some quite interesting species. And here, behind this rambutan, seems to be, yeah, this is a Dukulangsat tree. Correct me if I'm wrong, because this Dukulangsat looks a little bit strange. Come on, if I see an out-of-season bunch of fruit, I will be sure. Another mango tree, a feral oil palm, a fishtail palm. It looks interesting. Let's explore here. It's in the shade, it's nice and cool, and we find interesting stuff. Nothing seems to be in season, but at least I can show you the trees. This here, I'm pretty sure it's a young jackfruit tree. Where does it come from? There is no jackfruit around here either. Somebody is still planting stuff around here, or I don't understand exactly what's happening here. Giant bamboo, very important technical plant, but you can also use it to get water. Not always. Whenever you are most thirsty, usually there will be no water, or just a minuscule amount of water inside the giant bamboo. A lot of stuff here looks like fruit trees. This could be an older rambutan tree. Oh, it's never perfect. You get out of the sun and the mosquitoes get you. A lot of feral oil palms down here. I guess this area was locked and degraded severely, and then got restored from some secondary vegetation and fruit gardens and stuff like that. So there is not much left from the original jungle. I wonder what it would look like in 100 years. Will the original jungle ecosystem prevail in the majority, or will it be new stuff? Well, the mosquitoes will be there no matter what. A big cluster of red snake fruit. This is worth exploring. I collected some a couple days ago in Ulubarab. I have it on video if it has survived the heavy rains, but I don't mind to get some more. But I don't see a single cluster of the big tasty fruits. This is just like snake fruit, but red and more sour. Here another young jackfruit tree. Oh, it's not that young. It's as thick as my leg, and here between the two stems there is actually a young jackfruit. This thing behind it could be tarap. Ha! Look at that. What a forage, some nice Fuji apple grown in China. Its natural habitat seemed to be Borneo trash cans. Yeah, I would guess this is a tarap. This is a mango. Yep. Pretty sure that this jungle-like area recovered from some fruit forests. Here there should be a pedali. I think pedali was Artocarpus anisophilus, and no, Caledang was, I think, Artocarpus anisophilus, and pedali was Artocarpus sericicarpus, but you better Google those, because I'm not sure. This ginger here is very common in the area, but I've never seen the locals use it for something. There are thousands of Singiberaceae or ginger relative species around here. Yes, there is a use for each one of them, but yes, not every tribe uses each one of them. This looks like some strange, very strange Vitaceae with a stem. It's not just ridged, it's wingy. The stem has wings. Yeah, there are things like the devil's backbone in the Vitaceae, which have those wings. Also tendrils like a Vitaceae. Well, you know what Vitaceae also have? Grapes, because it's not just the grape vine, but also the grape and the vine family. But I don't think I have tasted this species yet. Where are the fruits? Here, by the way, it's growing on a rambutan tree. And here again, a kaledang, really nice leaves, but not a single fruit. Those are, or was it, well, the orange one definitely can also be eaten unripe. I think it's a waste, but a lot of the locals eat it unripe as a sort of snack. Always forget the name of this thing. It's a very popular city tree throughout Southeast Asia. The little orange fruits are edible. A bit sweet, quite starchy. Fortunately, they're also tart. Not so tart that you cannot eat them, but so tart that each time you think, why did I eat it again? It has some sweetness, it has some nice flavor, it has some nutrients, but was it really worth it? Ficus elastica, the second important rubber plant in the world. The rubber is quite good as a chewing gum, but I don't see good rubber anywhere here. Never seen good rubber on any of those imported trees here in Borneo. Maybe they imported a bad quality variety. And here, so you don't complain that the name of the video is a catfish. Here is the grand old lady, the first and oldest oil tower, not just in Miri but on the island of Borneo and in the country of Malaysia. What were those palm trees here? I managed to ID them once in the Canary Islands. I think the fruits tasted horrible. Oh, a gang of dogs here. Yeah, again, the street dogs of Miri, they're in a better condition than the average village dog. They have collars, so I think they're probably being monitored by some doctors or so. So those palms, there was something edible about them. I think you could make some wine out of them. But the fruits, as far as I remember, tasted horrible. Here, by the way, also the Museum Petroleum, the Petroleum Museum. And I guess that those pipes here don't have any oil in them anymore. Actually, I haven't even seen where they get their oil from nowadays. I guess it's not along the big main roads. Shall I forage some of the numerous coconuts growing on those trees? I'm afraid that's gonna be in direct competition to this restaurant here, which offers coconuts. I'm afraid that somebody will object to my foraging here. For some reason they are quite fond of this fruit here, of the unripe one. Call it kudondong, and they eat it fresh or pickled. It's basically hard and sour and crunchy, but they like it. By the way, when I heard the price of the coconuts here, I threatened them that I'm gonna harvest myself some from the trees. They were kind of afraid until I reassured them, no, I'm leaving the trees alone. I will not be any competition to you here. Well, but there are more coconut trees behind the toilet. Are they actually able to catch me if I forage some over here? Well, no, I warned them already. Also, they are, over 5 meters tall. So, nope. If I'm really desperate for coconuts, I know where I can get 2 more. Starting to get homesick. You see this brown area there where they have dumped some soil? Well, it reminded me of some of the meadows with cut grass in summer. Like, it reminded me of southern France also. It could look just the same in Bulgaria or in parts of Germany where it's really warm. You rarely see such meadows around here, and this is not a meadow, it just looked a little bit like one. But immediately I felt like a sting at like it would be nice to be home again. I mean, I've been in Borneo already for 2.5 months. Most 80% of the time, or even 90% of the time, totally outside of the fruit season. And yeah, I'm feeling like, the tasty food around here is getting a little bit boring. The countryside is getting a little bit boring. It is less boring than in Europe and in most other areas I've been. And since there are not so many fruits, even the foraging is getting boring. Well, tomorrow I'll probably go on towards Brunei, at least a different country. And around here, again, the biodiversity is quite good for a secondary forest because we have, a lot of invasives, a lot of planted and feral fruit trees, a lot of typical secondary forest stuff, but it's not in the fruit season. What are those huge vines here? Very interesting leaves. Oh, it almost looks like some storm is approaching. This looks to be one of the more hardcore hiking trails, but look at this mosquito cloud. No, thank you. I'll pass, despite seeing some interesting stuff down there. Some vines which look like smilex, like sarsaparilla. They could be some giant sarsaparilla species. Here is one which was quite severely, I'm being quite severely bitten. Here again, this plant which has little blue hairy berries. Here are some unripe hairy berries. Here are some flowers, and here is several ripe hairy berries. Well, they are small, they are stinging me, they are small, they are blue, they are hairy, and they are not too tasty, but those here actually were pretty ripe. They had even a trace of sweetness. What's this that's lying here on the ground? It looks like a turd, but it's a fruit. I think this might be the first time that I tasted some sweetness in those blue hairy things. Won't make them my favorite berry, but it's interesting to know that they can have a significant sugar content. Well, apparently Persian walnut grows here. Reminds me of like 30 years ago finding my first coconut with a husk still on it on a German lake beach near a very rich neighborhood, so I guess they bought it in some fancy shop. But there was a coconut lying on the beach, and for me as a teenager it was still a very big event finding my first coconut with the husk, until I knew only those brown hairy things from the supermarkets. And now here on a hillside around the equator, in an area which in Europe would typically house some feral walnuts, I'm finding a walnut husk. More nostalgia. Well, let's see what we can forage here. There are also some little trails going there, but not official ones. There seems to be a more official one a little bit over there, where I can get a shortcut to the market where the coconuts cost only a third of what they charge up here. 50 meters of elevation make a lot of difference in the price. Those coconut trees should be far away enough from the coconut vendors over there. Now I just have to find one which has fruits. This one is definitely big enough, but also a little bit too obvious. But there's some nice size ones over there. Let's see what we managed to find here. Why are there no coconuts on any of those here? Trees are of sufficient size to bear fruits, but they are not even very young coconuts on them. Strange. Is this a durian tree in the distance? Why not? It's part of every normal orchard around here. And there's a mango tree, so yeah, orchard, it's totally possible. A fruit lying on the sandy ground. Here another one, half eaten. Here I saw a squished one. 3 of them on the ground. That's a good chance they're coming right from here. These This thing looks a bit like a Sisyphus jujube tree, but the flowers I saw look very different. This is no Sisyphus flower. Maybe something related to the Bignoniaceae. Where is the fruit? On the, well, it's not even a tree, it's a shrub. Oh yeah, some nice rain cloud over us. Let's see how long it takes before it rains. Come on, one single fruit on the shrub. I don't want to try this sandy one lying on the trail. Okay, the sandy one it is then. Folks, never try fruits which you don't know. It can kill you. Wait, I've eaten this. No, I've tried this and spit it out before. I know this taste. Yeah. It is half good and half... No, it's 1/4 good and 3/4 bad. Don't want to describe it now, it's... Nah. It's like almost, but... Nah. Let's go ahead, there is some better stuff. And also a lot of those shrubs, so maybe I'll find one with fruit still on it. Oops, the first raindrops. There is a rambutan over there. A couple matua trees. A couple coconut trees. Well, this container, the door is open. And there is a durian tree behind it. Durian tree, but no fruits. If the rain gets too strong, you can always get into the metal container. Always know where the nearest place to hide from the rain is when you forage in a rainforest climate, folks. Ooh, this is some nice old orchard. Look at the size of this mango tree. Must be over 1 meter at the base. Here another mango tree fell over. Look at those big formations on it. Some Garcinia, some mangosteen relative. Yeah, I'm here. I'm definitely inside the fruit orchard here. Rambutan, water apple, bananas. Huge matua tree. What is this? This is definitely also a fruit tree. Coconut, well yes, there were enough coconut trees around us. Some old farmhouse, but it looks like it could still be in use at least as a weekend house. Also this garden looks decently well maintained for Borneo standards, so let's not be confused with a fruit stealing trespasser. Yes, of course I'm a fruit stealing trespasser, but as long as I'm not being confused with one, I can walk away freely. Here a really big shrub of those things, and yes, that's the confirmation. There are 2 of those fruits up there. Ah, here another one. So they totally come from this plant. This here might be the biggest mock lime thicket I've ever seen. They're several meters tall. And down here, this looks interesting. This looks like a good old fruit forest. I cannot smell any type of durian here, or I would walk in. Here the huge old mango tree with 2 stems. This is some fig, but I don't even remember what its fruits were like. Nice old 5 o'clock tree. Well, doesn't even need to be old, they grow very fast. Nice huge 5 o'clock tree. I think I'm out of the orchard now. A young durian tree, and for a split second I mistook one of the big leaves of the vine growing on it for a fruit. What a pity. I have to go this way, but I want to check out those two old mango trees here. They are not in season, but you never know. The odd out of season mango can always appear out of nowhere. And even without fruits, the trees are impressive. By far not the oldest and biggest I've seen here in Borneo, but quite impressive. This one is almost a meter thick. This one with the 2 stems, also about that thick but much taller. And here 2 other ones. A little bit thinner but pretty tall. I want to go down there. Wow, this part here really looks jungle-like. It has developed from a fruit forest, I'm sure. But yeah, here we have a lot more jungle species, a lot more biodiversity. Maybe there was a small pocket of original vegetation not destroyed around here. And then it recovered and grew in size. Very nice to see this. Yeah, if we are lucky, here the original biodiversity, at least part of it, will prevail. Really nice area. Here a nice old katapa tree. I hope they really don't do motorbiking here. Yeah, but here motorbikers, they have no respect. Especially in Indonesia, they even go through the market buildings and through the malls with their motorbikes, so you won't be surprised if they use those trails. Yeah, really very few fruits. The only significant thing I was able to forage was the coconut. If some bananas and pedalai were in season, it would have been a little bit more plentiful. Well, I mean, if the mangoes and durians and all the other stuff are in season, it's basically a fruit feast. But let's see, down there, those 3 palms, I cannot see from here whether they are, oh, they are more than 3, whether they are oil palms or maybe coconut palms. Oil palms, not going there just for the slim chance that there might be a couple palm nuts. All this stuff looks like oil palms. Not a single palm that looks like a coconut palm. And even the bananas really don't look like I can forage something for them, from them. Big mango tree in the background, but also nothing on it. What about the bananas in the background? A lot of dry leaves. It could mean that nobody has been at them in a long time. So a squirrel, here it is. Did you see it? Basically the biggest competitors for many fruits, especially for the durian. They can get every durian before you. There was some bigger animal just 3 meters away from me. Beautiful rusty color. Could have been a jungle chicken or some of the bigger squirrels, so I'm afraid I heard it quite far away now. I hope this is still an official road and an official bridge. It looks like it's still being used. A little bit shaky, especially here. I want to check out. Yeah, always use bridges, folks. You can look down on trees from bridges. Couple bananas, those look like feral ones, not like wild ones. Not such a good view on the other side of the bridge. Couple pedalite trees. This is stable. I hope this is stable. Seems stable enough. And down there I can already see the red roofs of the market. Here a whole group of egg-colored trees. This stuff is rare, folks. You know how many fruit hunters are so happy when they even see the fruit on the market? And here right next to the market you can see a whole thicket of them. In the background there is a bigger one, and here in the foreground I see at least 1, 2, 3, 4 younger ones. Also here an artocarpus tree. This is one big old manioc plant. And here in the background it looks nice and jungle. Scheiße! Fuck! Scheiße! Get away from me! They're still after me. Giant sting bees. Here they are. Some of them are still after me. Are they gone? Are they gone? Here they are. Here is one. No, they are not giant sting bees, they are other sting bees. Check my clothes. Wait. They're still after me. Here they're catching up with me. Okay, let's see if they will leave me alone here, or there are a lot of other people. Every time I try, I thought I lost them, or I saw them again after me. Okay, now I'm inside the market building. If you remember it, when you are here, no, they're still. This is impossible. What the? Those are not giant honeybees, some other big bee species. Whenever I stop for 10 seconds, they catch up. It's incredible. Why don't they lose me here between all the people? Why? Okay, let's try. I already stopped. How many times? 2 or 3 times. And they came after me. Oh, there is the swarm. They're in the street between those two market buildings. They even caught up with me in the first market building. Incredible. I wanted to have a nice relaxed end to this video. And here they are. They're after me. The black bees. Here. They mark you. Some bees and hornets at west mark you with a smell when they sting you once, and then the other ones know who to sting. Yeah, they're after me. Well, at least one found me. 2. Gotcha. Now you can check out, it's a bee, because the first two I saw that they lost their stingers when they stung me. There is still at least one after me, but I have to kill it. I cannot escape it. See? Definitely a bee. Yeah. They are losing the stingers, yeah. Well, at this point I have to kill them. It's either them or me. Folks, in the jungle, sometimes it is like this. Oh. So there is at least one that was still chasing me while I killed this one. Or the question is, did it go back when it noticed that it's alone? Or... Okay, I hope they lost me. I don't see the swarm. Well, it was a small swarm, like 5 or 6. I don't see them between the buildings anymore. Only 2 came with me into the second building. If I'm lucky, they are not somewhere on my back or so. Yeah, what I wanted to say, folks, when you are chased by bees, hornets, wasps, or all those spiky insects, when you stop and think that you have lost them, check your hair, check your luggage, check your clothes especially. Even minutes after you think you are safe, some of them will manage to find their way through your clothes. It has been in your clothes for minutes, trying to get a stinger to your skin, and will sting you. Oh my God. The first one that managed to get me right here. I wanted this to be a really relaxed final to this very interesting, in my opinion, fruit foraging video, but then it got... And after 2 or 3 minutes I realized that the video was still running, so I decided I'll leave it running first because I didn't have the time to turn it off, and second because, yeah, usually the really funny things, they happen off camera, and in this case, yeah. So this one, I noticed that there were bees from the first moment, because this was the first one that stung me, and while the bee was already gone, I checked for the stinger, and I had it in my fingers and could look at it. And the stingers, when they sting you, the bees, when they sting you, the stinger comes off, the bee dies. Well, the stinger doesn't come off you; it stays in your skin, and there is a little bubble full of poison which is being constantly pumped into your skin. So if a wasp stings you, it flies away. If a bee stings you, the bee lies dead on the ground, but the poison is still being pumped into you. And when it's being pumped right near your aorta, it's quite dangerous. I had an allergic reaction against the bee once. So now I'm glad I'm back in the city, and if something happens, if I start to get breathing trouble, I will run to the next doctor. Yeah. Well, basically this fruit foraging trip, very interesting area in my opinion. A lot of old abandoned fruit forests. There doesn't seem to be an owner to them. They seem to be some sort of state forest park here behind me, right behind the market. It was off-season, but imagine if you are there in the fruit season. Well, the durian trees will be besieged by a lot of local people, but so many mango trees. You'll get a lot of mangoes. You get pedalai, mentawak, you get tarap probably. You get encala, you get coconuts, you get bananas, you get probably a lot of other stuff which I couldn't even recognize. And it's right next to the main market. And it's also right next to the area where I always take a hotel because I like the main market. So from now on, I think when I come to Miri, especially in the fruit season, the area here behind me is gonna be one of the main destinations in this city. Hopefully without sting bees. Let's see how this develops. What are you saying, Ibu? Saya tidak mengerti, maaf. Oh, remember the lady who sold me who gave me the sour stuff, the sour bunga kantan yesterday? Well, on the market where I had it, tidak telur, terima kasih. On the market where there were the young two, apa?
Tengok.
Oh, telur. Baik.
Saya tengok.
YouTube, mister. Look here. Ah, yeah. You are getting on YouTube. Haha. Yeah, that's the easiest way to chase people off. Well, what I wanted to say, on the taboo market, where the lady with the €2 young coconuts had already, with the 2 ringgit young coconuts had already sold them. Then I found some other for like 5 on the market, but they look too old. Now I went here to the Iban market and got some good size. Huh? Apa, mister? Tell me. And so now they even have a little cleaver for me. So now, after the scare with the honeybees, oh, by the way, this is developing even better and better. They stung me in a couple other places. Oh, look at that. My lymph nodes are starting to... I have to watch this. See this here, the lymph node? Let's check the other ones. Well. Have to monitor this closely. I don't know what kind of crazy poison local honeybees have. Well, anyways, I managed to find a nice coconut. Oh, the guy is even washing a straw for me in the fish tank. I think I'll pass on the straw, but I took his cleaver because this coconut is a little bit too massive for my little pocket knife. Oh, now I cut too deeply into it. Water coming out already. Okay, here we are. Oh, no, don't eat. Oh, I'm afraid the straw might be slightly fishy. Bye, buddies. This is a really good sweet coconut, folks. This is a high quality coconut. Out of all the coconuts I had today, this is by far the best one. Oh.